You've been reading about chakras. Our next are crystals. Chakras are, there's a lot of information on chakras. And I would tell you guys to definitely find people who are gurus, not only in about chakras, but where chakras stem from. So, chakras come from Hinduism. That's a Hindu practice. So that belief system in the background is something that you definitely should look there. I gotta plug the crystals. I gotta plug the crystal shop in. You guys, I got some neat gifts, gift wrapping available. Should you need some gift wrapping if you want to get it as a gift. But if you get anything as a Christmas gift, you do need to get it by December 15th so that it can be mailed on time. And I do have layaway for the next month, anyone who is looking. I'm going to send you guys a channel on YouTube. I want you to watch if you're interested in getting more into things like chakras, those type of practices, because, like I said, chakras come from, it's Hindu practice, but I'm going to put Sangru, I think I'm saying his name wrong, but he's a phenomenal guru that I watch on YouTube. I've been watching him for a while now. But the enlightenment is real when it comes to his teachings. Hey, Janice from the UK. Good morning, Kimberly. Good morning, Lucinda. So, while we're talking about crystals, right? And, what made me really look at the article was because, of course, not only do I believe in crystals, I practice with crystals. I have crystals, right? So it intrigued me to read this article about crystals. So the article, and I'm going to pop the link in the comments so you guys can go and read the article yourself. It's on theguardian.com, which of course is a I don't want to say a smaller kind of news outlet, but it is. But you could go and read it yourself should you decide to. But one of the things that I saw is that they talked about how, of course, the habit or not habit of the way that crystals are, that they go get them. And I think that's on all levels, not just crystals. When we are consumers, we don't think about where it comes from, really. We don't think about, like, if you remember Nike, when Nike was blasted out about these children in a sweatshop making these shoes, and people are over here spending a couple $100 on these shoes. Yet, I think sometimes because of where we live in our society, we're kind of downing other countries, but in other countries, it's legal in some places for children to work, right? Um, and so in some places, these children have no other options but to work because of their, where they're at, the lifestyle that they live. Some of these children are the breadwinners of their family. Not to say that it's okay, because I think every child should have a childhood. Um, but like anything that we buy, I think that it's up to us whether we decide to be mindful. Like, I can't say you guys need to be mindful and you need to look at everything you fucking buy, because everything you buy has an origin story, right? Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's crystals, doesn't matter if it's a piece of clothing, doesn't matter if it's jewelry. One of the neat things I read in the article is that when crystals are mined, they are actually, only reason why they come across it is because they were mining for gold and copper and these other natural resources that we use for phones, for TVs. Now, is the phone industry going out of business anytime soon? Fuck no, you know. But for some reason, it's that this kind of, it is harmful, and the impact on like Mother Nature. We don't know the long-term effects, of course, of mining. We really don't. I mean, we know that people have been mining for decades. We know it's a thing. They've been mining for diamonds and gold and everything else for, for a long time. But us that were coming into this kind of more open consciousness, right? Or we're coming into this level of awareness. do we think about where our crystals come from? Now, I do have my wholesalers, and I do, for the most part, know where the crystals are coming from. My crystals, from what they say. I can only go by what my wholesalers say. If they say it's from this country, then I have to assume and believe that it's in this country. So one of the statements in the article was that if this crystal had been forced out of the mind, right? By, they use explosives, they use all kind of methods to open up the mind and get these crystals out. So if your crystal is gone through all of this kind of shock trauma, how how is the vibration of that crystal by the time it gets to you? So I want to know you guys' thoughts about that. Um, is it like now traumatic in this crystal? Now, me personally, I've never had a crystal that I didn't mesh with. I didn't have a crystal that gave me bad vibes. And I've always cleansed my crystals when I got them. So whenever I would get a crystal, I would immediately take Florida water and I would cleanse it, cleanse off the energy from everyone who has touched it. But that's my practice. That's kind of how I do. I cleanse everything that especially spiritual tools, I cleanse it all before I use it, because you don't know who touched it before you, right? You really don't know. So anything I don't think it's just crystals to down talk the crystal industry. Although, yes, celebrities do make it look really cool now. We have celebrities that are like, I think Adele, they said in the article that, and I'm quoting from their article, that Adele said she had this bad performance and she blamed it on losing her crystal. And I think there was like someone else, like you have a lot of these mainstream people. Well, good morning, sunshine.
I'm on live, so can you, I'm on live, so can
Morning,
you just
Cassandra.
talk?
Come on, you picky.
So I am, yeah, I don't know, do we have an echo? Good morning, Brenda. So I want decided to bring up that crystal article that you sent me.
Oh, the one that
And
made
I,
me feel bad?
right, immediately when I started reading it, I was just like, damn,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I'm a crystal sailor. So it made me think like, damn, are we contributing to this kind of shitty energy or this kind of shittiness of the world, But
Mm,
unfortunately, what I was reading in there is that it is an unregulated sector. Like, it's not
mm-hmm.
regulated. Mining for crystals is not something that people are watching. So there are a lot of miners. There are a lot of people getting hurt in the mines, because of the way that they do it, the explosives, those mines caving in, and things like that. So there is a
Right.
lot of backstory to it that is sad, right? And so I know for environmentalists or humanitarians that are like for us, would be standing against it to say, "Damn, this is harsh. Let's stop." Um, but at the same time, like I was saying, I've never had a crystal come to me that's had a bad vibe. Like, I can't remember not one crystal that I've picked up and be like, oh no, not that one. That one's giving me a bad vibe. And then I do clear my crystals. So for the most part, even as a seller, whoever you buy your crystals, if they say it's from this country, you kind of have to believe it. There's nothing else you can do. You just got to believe that
Mm-hmm.
that's where it came from and that's the truth about it, right? But you don't know the origin. And there's an origin story everywhere. But I said, remember, like Nike, when they got blasted out for the sweatshop and everybody was
Yeah.
still buying motherfucking $300, $400 Jordans?
I don't
Like,
think it'll ever make certain people stop buying. I think there'll be that select few group that stops buying
they're like,
things. But
no, I'm not going to touch another crystal in my life.
right,
you
I
know?
don't think they will. I think it's sad though.
It is
That
very
it
sad.
was kind of. I mean, I guess I should have known.
Right,
I don't
right.
know why, but I never thought about it until I seen it. That in that, I don't even know how I came across that damn article.
It's the awareness of like
Mm,
spirit is crazy the way that they send us stuff. You guys won't even believe how spirit is always sending us information. It's like it seems like the most random shit that comes past us, and then it's always relevant to whatever's going around that
mhm.
time. And I think there's definitely a meaning because I think that we do, at some point where we're talking about awareness and our integrity and things like that, here go these issues that come up, right? And
Right.
so me as a business owner, I had to take a step back, like, fuck all these crystals I just bought. And now I'm like, damn, you know, like, do I still sell crystals or do I say, no, no more crystals? But in the spiritual community, you do have shamans, you do have healers that use crystals in healing. They,
Mhm.
they will tell you what crystals to go buy that do work. And I personally have worked with crystals. They have helped me. So now it's like that. If for 2 seconds, I will say it had me feeling bad for 2 seconds, you guys. And then I was like, unfortunately, that's the way of the world. A lot of things that we buy and purchase as consumers, we don't know the backstory about it. We don't know what
No.
happened. We don't know who got it. And we don't even ever ask questions. We just purchase it. It's available. Boom. But if you guys are like honest with ourselves about it and we're okay with it, because everything that comes pretty much from other countries most likely have child workers. Like that's a thing in a lot of countries. That's a thing. It's harsh, the conditions and the hours that they work for how much they get paid. But in those countries, it's kind of like it's there. I think I
Right.
only saw one of my wholesalers. I actually got video of their people shaping the spheres, which was cool. I didn't see any kids, okay, in the video because they were showing me that they do their own shaping and cutting and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that was in Pakistan. But then in the article I read that the Taliban gets about 20 something million just off the crystals in Afghanistan. So then it's like, oh shit, like
Uh-huh.
they're getting a cut, and we don't even know that we're fucking contributing to the Taliban. We don't know if we are not. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm not saying we are. But do we know? We don't know. There's no regulation. So then you got to kind of wonder, like, well, damn.
I don't think anyone pays enough attention to the hands that things go through to get to them. I mean, we think about like the store we get it from, but beyond that, nobody thinks about
Right.
what what hands things go through to get to where it is. And even when we do realize that, does it really make a difference, or does that like human selfish tendency come out where you're like, you feel bad and then you're like, oh fuck it, like I'm gonna get it anyway. I really want that though.
Well, I was saying that as rough as it is to know that, there are these children that are still working today, because we know childhood labor has been a thing, that's been a thing for, but it is sad to know that still at this day and age, there's still children working. But like I was saying, there's some of these children that are the breadwinners for their family,
Hmm.
in these countries that don't have proper care. Some of the, you see the stories. And if you watch a lot of documentaries, you'll kind of come across this shit. I'm a big documentary person, but it's sad. But a lot of these children are making money for their family, their home, you know. I've seen a lot of documentaries where these little kids are like selling shit, and then they go home and like the mother's blind and shit. And it's like, damn, it's
Hmm.
it's harsh.